Tonight at 6, seeking justice. Another vigil for the missing Virginia mother who vanished months ago. Her body has not been found. Her husband is heading to trial, the latest from her loved ones. And 3 people shot near Howard University overnight. The open investigation and a scare not far from where students and alumni celebrated a milestone homecoming weekend. And curbing late-night crime, the effort in one Maryland county to ramp up security at businesses. Lingering questions about costs and the timeline for residents to weigh in.
Sunny and dry conditions across the DMV today. How long will they last here in the region? More details coming up in your forecast.
And as always, stretching your dollar. Another DMV grocery price check. How 10 pantry essentials fared to start the week at Walmart, Giant, and Safeway.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 6 o'clock. I'm Ben Dennis. We begin tonight in the district where 3 people were reportedly shot near Howard University overnight. And not far from when people are celebrating homecoming weekend. Police say it happened around 1:50 this morning on 8th Street Northwest. It's there officers found 2 women and a man who were shot. They were sent to the hospital for their injuries. We're told all in stable condition. That investigation is ongoing tonight. Well, in Maryland, today marks 1 year since a 56-year-old man disappeared in St. Mary's County. Officials continuing their efforts to find Daniel Lewis Edwards. Officials say that Edwards was last seen leaving a construction job site in California, Maryland. And over the year-long investigation, detectives determined there were suspicious circumstances surrounding his disappearance. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office. That number is right there on your screen. We've also got an update to a story we brought you last night, live on air. Police have now identified the man who died in Alexandria last night. Police responded to Manor Road around 7:50 p.m. for a report of shots fired. It was later that officials determined 23-year-old Carl Harris took himself to the hospital. That's where he died. The medical examiner is working to determine the exact cause of death. Well, tonight, loved ones of a missing Loudoun County mother are holding another vigil just several months after Mom Debat vanished from her Manassas Park home. Her husband is headed to trial for allegedly concealing her body. Mom Debat vanished from her home in July. She is considered missing, although police believe that she is dead. They arrested her husband, Naresh, at the couple's home August the 22nd. He's charged with hiding a dead body, even though it's not been found. Prosecutors said during his bond hearing, investigators found a large amount of blood inside of their home. Plus, there's video of Bott as he threw away several bags at several dump sites while he wore gloves. Mamta's disappearance has sparked numerous vigils like tonight's. People told us they're just looking for closure for Mamta's family.
Ultimately, she can't speak for herself, and so we have to speak for her. So that's why we keep showing up. That's why we're at every court hearing. That's why we're hosting events. And we really need to leverage this pain for something good. And that's why we're gathering here tonight.
Mamta's husband, Naresh, remains held without bond. He's scheduled to return to court November the 7th with a pretrial hearing set for November the 20th. Just a few minutes, our Dave Laval joins us live as more are remembering her. Well, now we want to take a look at the timeline of events here, going back to July the 27th. That's the last time Mamta was seen at UVA Prince William Medical Center for work. Police then visited the couple's home on August the 2nd for a wellness check. Her husband, Naresh, telling police he did not want to report her missing. But 3 days later, Naresh reported Mamta missing but did not cooperate with police. They then searched the home on August the 21st, and Naresh was taken away in handcuffs the next day. He was then held without bond at a hearing in late August. All right, much more local news ahead, but hey, that does include your forecast. And meteorologist Derek Boney's in for Scott Sumner. Man, look at that beautiful shot. You can see the colors are already starting to change on those trees.
Oh yeah, the colors are absolutely wonderful all across the DMV as fall is setting on in. We had a high temperature though today, slightly above the average. We had highs into the mid 70s across the DMV. We're at 74 now, nice and sunny still. We have that sunset tonight at 6:22 though. Those days are slowly getting shorter as we are approaching the fall season, and before you know it, it'll be time to turn the clocks back as we head into November. All in all, we do have a light little wind here and there at around 5 miles per hour. That has been variable throughout the time period. We're looking at, of course, temperatures around the region into the 60s further south as we head over towards Fredericksburg, Waldorf, as well as Annapolis. 74 though in Hagerstown, 70 Martinsburg, 71 in towards Woodstock, 71 also down in towards Culpeper and Orange counties. We're looking at temperatures at around 68 though in Lexington Park. We're looking at over the next 24 hours or so, temperatures falling down into the upper 40s and lower 50s as we head in towards the overnight. Tomorrow though, we're looking at highs to approach 80 degrees here in the district. It's definitely going to be another warm day here on tap for both Monday and Tuesday. As we head into Wednesday, a cold front will pass through and that will help cool us off Thursday and Friday, returning us back closer to normal for this time of year before temperatures rise up once again as we go into the month of November. We're looking at in the next couple of days though, relatively well above average.
All right, Derek. Well, that Boar's Head plant in Virginia at the center of a deadly listeria outbreak is again being investigated by the feds. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Inspector General has opened an investigation into how the agency handled violations that were reported at the plant. Investigators, they're going to look into whether inspectors responded appropriately to dozens of troubling reports at the factory. They included mold, insects, dripping water, and meat and fat residue on walls, floors, and equipment. Well, Prince George's County leaders are trying to prevent late-night crime and keep you safe. Businesses from being vandalized, too. The county council is looking to pass a new bill requiring some businesses boost their own security. Businesses open between midnight and 4 in the morning. Councilmember Crystal Orieta says that could include more lights, cameras, and training for security. While she says the bill is long overdue, not everybody's on board.
The concern from the membership at the Maryland Retailers Alliance is about the cost of compliance for this, the lack of clarity around the parameters that could impact businesses, and the lack of consistency.
So the goal really is not to penalize the businesses, but say you have to be part of the solution and take the time to work with the police to figure out what the standard should be.
Also lingering questions about oversight, and yes, you just heard the cost. The council hopes to hold a public hearing before taking a final vote next month. All right, DC News Now is your local election headquarters. Maryland early in-person voting starts this Thursday, where the U.S. Senate seat is a highly and hot race. The latest polls show Democrat Angela Alsobrooks leading over Republican Larry Hogan by 9.5 points. Alsobrooks says despite the numbers, she continues to see this as a tight competition. While Hogan says he's used to being the underdog. We chatted with the political analyst who says it's likely a challenge for Hogan to run during a presidential year.
Larry Hogan has never run in a presidential general election. But he's never run with a Democratic presidential candidate at the top of the ticket.
For more on the Maryland Senate race, head to our website, dcnewsnow.com. And in Virginia, data is showing a historic amount of voters have cast their ballots early this year. DC News Now's Haley Mylon digs into those numbers for us.
The numbers indicate that early voting is becoming the norm for many Virginians. Just look at Fairfax County. On Saturday, more than 15,000 people took to the polls there, marking the busiest day of early voting ever. Now, in total, more than 1,018,000 ballots have been cast in the Commonwealth this election. That's about 300,000 votes short of the general election in 2020. But keep in mind that that election came amid the COVID pandemic, when many people were avoiding crowds and public places. Most people are opting to go to their polling places, with 70% of those early voters casting a ballot in person compared to 269,000 who voted by mail. Now, to make things easier for you, Fairfax County has added 13 additional satellite voting locations where you can vote between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday, and then 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Sunday. More on that on DCNewsNow.com. Keyword search Virginia voting. I'm Haley Mylon, DC News Now.
Our thanks to Haley. Staying in the Commonwealth, a heads up, your Dominion energy bill will likely increase by 50% in the next 15 years. Dominion is blaming it on data centers, saying the demand for electricity is rising at its fastest rate since World War II. To make up for it, they plan to drastically increase the amount of energy they can generate from natural gas, plus renewable sources like wind and solar. But bottom line, your bill will likely skyrocket by 2039.
50% increase in our monthly electric bills is unaffordable. And if the data centers are causing this inflation of our electric bills, then they need to be held accountable.
All of our customers, regardless of what type of customer they are, pay for the power that they use. So if you're a data center and you get billed for the power that you use. If you're a residential customer and a homeowner, you get billed for the power that you use.
Dominion says it also plans to use new tech to develop electricity over the next few years. Back for another year in the district. They hosted the annual Turkish Festival downtown today. Lots of sights and sounds. The festival brings together more than 20,000 folks to the district every single year. It features classical Turkish dances, which you just saw, traditional cuisine from local vendors, including Turkish tea and coffee and handmade crafts. This year marks the 21st year of the festival. And Commanders fans once again locked into their TVs today. Washington coming off a loss to the Ravens last week, headed into this week's matchup with the Panthers at 4-2. That's good enough for first place in the NFC East, tied with the Eagles. Checking in on the score of the game right now, DC with a commanding 34-0 lead over the Panthers in the third quarter. Backup quarterback Marcus Mariota had to replace Jaden Daniels, who left with a rib injury in the first half. Our Alex Flum is going to have more on the Sunday afternoon matchup in sports coming up in a few minutes.